Imagine saving your family from total financial disaster, paying $6,000 out of your own pocket to cover an entire year of their basic utility bills, and then being publicly humiliated at Sunday dinner. I sat at that table, listening to my own mother tell the entire extended family that I was selfish and doing the bare minimum. Everyone looked at me like I was the villain, while my golden boy brother sat there smiling, having contributed absolutely nothing. I did not scream, I did not cry, and I did not make a scene. Instead, I simply raised my glass, made a calm announcement that left the entire room dead silent, and executed a plan that completely stripped them of every single privilege they took for granted. Story. My name is Sarah, and for as long as I can remember, I have been the dependable child. While my older brother Julian was praised for simply breathing, I was expected to excel, save, and handle every crisis without complaining. Last year, my parents hit a rough patch. Their utility bills were spiraling out of control due to unpaid balances. Shut-off notices were piling up, and they were on the verge of having their power and water cut off completely. Out of love and respect, I stepped in quietly. I transferred $6,000 directly to clear their accounts and set up prepayments for the entire year so they would not have to worry. I did not ask for praise, and I did not ask for repayment. I just wanted my parents to be comfortable. Everything changed at our annual family reunion dinner. Relatives from across the state were gathered, and the mood was light until the conversation turned to finances and family support. My mother stood up to give a speech, thanking Julian for buying her a cheap $50 throw blanket, calling him the most generous son a mother could ask for. Then her eyes landed on me, in front of aunts, uncles, and cousins. She sneered and said that it was a shame I did not care about the family as much as my brother did. She openly claimed that I was hoarding my money and said out loud, "You could do so much more if you were not so selfish." The table went completely quiet. Julian smirked into his napkin, and my father just looked down at his plate. My heart hammered against my chest, but the anger inside me was ice cold. I realized in that exact moment that no matter what I sacrificed, I would always be the villain in their story, unless I stopped letting them treat me like a bank. I slowly stood up, raised my water glass high into the air, and clinked it with my fork until every single eye in the room was fixed directly on me. I smiled warmly and said, "Cheers to family transparency. Since my mother believes I do not do enough, I am officially canceling my $6,000 annual sponsorship of their electricity, gas, and water bills effective immediately. In fact, since I am so selfish, I have already called the service providers and refunded the remaining prepaid credit directly back to my account. From this moment on, the generous favored child can handle the bills himself." The silence that followed was deafening. My mother turned completely pale, her jaw dropped, and my father nearly choked on his drink. Julian instantly lost his arrogant smile and started stammering that he could not afford to pay $600 a month in utilities. My aunts and uncles began whispering among themselves, realizing that I had been quietly keeping the household afloat the entire time while my mother publicly insulted me. Without waiting for another word, I set my glass down, picked up my purse, and walked out of the restaurant. Over the next 48 hours, my phone blew up with desperate calls and texts from my mother, going from furious demands to outright sobbing pleas as the reality of their monthly expenses hit them. I did not back down, and I did not return a single dollar. For the first time in my life, one chose my own dignity over their ungrateful demands. And they learned the hard way that when you disrespect the person keeping the lights on, you end up sitting in the dark. Setting boundaries with toxic family members is never easy. But sacrificing your own peace for people who refuse to appreciate you will only drain your life. Stand up for your worth. Protect your hard-earned success. And never let anyone make you feel guilty for refusing to be taken advantage of.